Yeah, just realized I've still got the tag on my top. Winning. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to go through my process of hiring and firing. Hiring and firing VAs. Yeah, because everyone wants to fire VAs on the spot. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to go through my exact process of hiring and finding the best talented VAs. My recruitment HR team and I screen hundreds of workers, remote workers, every single week, and we've literally spent hundreds of hours optimizing and innovating our processes. So I know where the talent is, and I'm going to share all my secrets with you guys right here in this video, so tune in. Now, y'all know the drill. If you are keen to scale and start crushing it with virtual teams and team building, then subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to be notified when I post a video next. Guys, I have a team of over 50 VAs and skilled remote workers. So I know for a fact how impactful it can be when you find the right value matched VA, and I want to show you guys how to do that too. This is what I do for a living. This is what I do for my clients, and we help them to stop feeling enslaved in their businesses by taking off those hats and really delegating. So stick around. I'm going to go through these points with you, right? Okay, so first off, number one, when you are looking to hire a VA, which I assume you are, because otherwise you wouldn't be watching this. So the first thing before you hire a VA is you've got to actually know what you're looking for, what you need in your business, and what you should be prioritizing in your business as well. So get really, really clear on what you want to delegate first. Now, I know a lot of us business owners and entrepreneurs, what we do is we have all the things up here, right? We've got all the processes up here. And what happens is when we get a team member come on, to have a more smooth transition and a smooth onboarding, you want to have like some processes, if you can, of your current business processes, so you have somewhere to send them. Now, I have put together a really quite comprehensive delegation cheat sheet. I'll leave the link below. It's just laid out for you guys step by step on how to do this. I'm not going to go through it. That's probably like a whole course module, but I would encourage you to do this by yourself and go through it, because this is how you create the backbone for your business, and it helps when hiring for VAs as well. What this cheat sheet is going to do, it's going to be looking at what you can automate in your business. It's going to be looking at what you need to do or what you really like to do. And the thing is, like, some of this stuff is really cloudy. This is why you need to get like the pen and paper out and actually spend some solid time on this, right? And this evolves over time, right? But just get started. This is how you build the back end of your business, and you've got something solid, not something airy fairy. It's got a backbone. It's not just flesh, right? Start doing this, and you will save yourself hours and hours and hours of headaches and time in the future. To get clear on your processes with this delegation cheat sheet, you're going to be looking at, like I said, what you can automate, what you need to do, or what you really love to do as well. And then the other thing you're going to be looking at is what you can outsource. So what you can outsource to a team member. Now, I use virtual assistants very, very loosely as well. People think about virtual assistants as generalists, admin, doing, just kind of ticking the boxes. And, that's kind of the term that's being coined. But I guess, when I say virtual assistants, I'm talking about skilled workers abroad as well, skilled virtual co-workers. They don't have to necessarily be abroad, okay? So you can get like social media analysts, media buyers, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, like actual like proper specialist roles that you can outsource to as well. Like highly, highly talented people out there. When I say VAs, I'm referring to all those things, not just generalist roles. I'm referring to specialist roles as well. So that's number one, guys. So figure out what you love to do, what you need to automate, and then figure out what you can then outsource. I would highly encourage you to download that delegation cheat sheet, because it's literally all there for you to do. All you got to do is fill it out, figure it out, and that's going to help give you some clarity to start with, okay? Point number two is you got to start thinking about budget allocation, so like crunching numbers. This just goes over so many people's heads, and I know you might roll your eyes at this and think, oh, it's so boring, I don't give a shit about my numbers. But the fact is, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And that's a famous quote by Marcus, someone, I can't remember his last name. That's what it comes down to, okay? Knowing your numbers. And this is why I always say, one of the first things that I outsourced was my bookkeeping and like invoicing and admin and all of that stuff, because it's not my genius zone. It's not what I'm great at, but I do have have someone on my team who's an expert at it, right? She's got like 8+ years in accounting. She's got an accountant's degree in the Philippines and she's amazing, and I would be totally lost without her. If you have someone on your team who can help you out with that, then awesome. Crunch some numbers with them. Look at your budget, like look at your outgoing expenses, your liabilities. You need to be knowing this kind of stuff so that you can put a budget together. So look at, okay, how much extra cash can you put aside, can you put towards hiring a new team member to start with? So crunch the hourly rates. What are you looking for? Because this is going to fall into the next step. You're going to be looking at, okay, how much can you afford a month? Is it 500? Is it 1,000? Is it 2,000? Right? Is it 200? Yeah. So just start thinking about that, and then you can have a bit of an idea of, okay, so I can afford someone for this many hours, and then I can have them either part-time or full-time, right? So crunch your numbers and think, because it needs to be ongoing as well. If you're hiring a VA, then I'm assuming that you're looking for someone on an ongoing basis. Okay, if it's project-based, you would probably just be going to like Upwork or Fiverr or a website or something and doing something project-based. But if you're looking for an ongoing role, this is something where it's important to crunch your numbers, because you're hiring somebody else onto your team. In a way, you are feeding their family by paying their wages. So if suddenly after a week of having them, 2 weeks of having them, you're like, oh shit, I can't afford this. Well, that's on you because you didn't crunch your numbers. Do that and figure out what's going to be viable for you to afford over the next 2, 3, 4 months. And then you can have a bit more of an idea of where to look and how to look. The other thing worth mentioning on the budget allocation is thinking about the value cost as well. Now, this is a term coined by Russell Brunson, and basically the value cost in a nutshell is it's the benefit or the value of something that must be given in order to achieve something else. So what does that mean? Essentially, think about, how do you value your time per hour? Would you charge yourself $50, $200, $2,000, $10,000 an hour? Whatever that is, thinking about that. If you, let's say you're a coach and you're putting together a course, but you have no tech skills, right? Are you going to go ahead and are you going to go pay $2,000 to do a course on web dev and tech stuff? And then are you going to spend probably hundreds of hours learning that skill and learning how to do that? Or would you find someone who is a web developer or a designer and has all those tech skills, and would you outsource it to them? Like figuring out those costs, because if you were to go out, do it yourself, and then master that skill, get really good at that, that might end up costing you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, right? Whereas if you get somebody who already has a skill, who already has this expertise and has what you are looking for and striving to get, that might cost you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 over whatever period of time. So think about that value cost as well. Same with social media. So many people spend so much time on their social media, scheduling all these posts, getting headaches because their messenger's so full and messy, and pulling out their hair because of it. Why not hire a social media manager for 15, 20 hours a week? That's what I do essentially, especially for organic lead gen. It saves me 20 hours of time, and it's amazing because I get all that free time to do other stuff as well, right? Because I really value my time, and I'm sure you do as well. So think about the value costs when it comes to looking at your processes and your businesses and what you look to delegate first. That's point number 2. I'd love to know, guys, comment below and let me know what you can think of the top of your head. What can you delegate first? Drop a comment below. Okay, guys, so number 3 is recruitment. This is the part where you're actually going out and looking at different platforms and figuring out where you want to hire the VA from, or the virtual co-worker from. There's a few things to consider here. So the first thing is, are you going to go directly to the freelancers or virtual assistants, virtual co-workers, whatever you'd like to refer to them as? Are you going to go directly to them and handle all the recruitment and the HR, the human resources yourself, and the payroll and stuff like that? Or B, are you going to go through a virtual assistant company like the Speed Up Co? I'll leave the link below, guys. Here you got to think about the pros and cons of both. And there's a bit to this. I have a recruitment cheat sheet for this as well, so I'll leave that link below, and you guys can have a look at those pros and cons, and then weigh up what's best for you with your situation. Now, if you guys are ready to go in and hire directly, and you want to do with the recruitment yourself and the candidate selection, and you're doing all the screening and that, I'm not going to deep dive too far into that because that's an entire course course. It's a whole specialty. That's why there are VA companies. But I will jump in. I'm going to tell you some like ultimate tips and tricks and hacks and what you should be looking for. So the first thing is looking at the initial numbers for your VA. So when you're putting together a job description form, you want to be putting in these points of how many hours you're looking for. You don't necessarily have to say what the pay is. You can put that in if you choose. A lot of the places where you look, like onlinejobs.ph, for example, you can see what their expected salary is there. So it'll usually be per month. Now that is a subscription site, onlinejobs.ph. Okay, there's thousands and thousands of different candidates on there. So if you do a job description form on there, you likely will get a lot of candidates that are reaching out and applying for the job. Okay, that's one way to find some talent. Another way is to look on social media. So simply going out and doing a social media post can be really effective as well. And then just talking to your colleagues, your partners, your friends, and asking them about their team members and referrals. That's where you can start getting referrals as well. Referrals is something that we rely on. We don't rely on it, but we do get a lot of referrals in my VA company, which is amazing. And that's where some of the best talent comes from, because they come recommended from these already amazing, talented workers. So looking at that as well, like a referral basis. When you are putting that job description together, just noting on there the hours, the skills that you're looking for, what's important to you, a little bit about your company, qualities that you're actually looking for in a virtual assistant as well. This is something that we're doing for our clients when we go out and we recruit for them. Okay, yes, skills and experience are really important, and that's going to determine the hourly rate. But the other thing that we're looking at is what is the attitude of this person, okay? Because that's going to trump all the other stuff. The most important thing is attitude. How hungry are they? How driven are they? Because if they're coachable, they can go very far. If you get someone with this big, long-ass list of all these skills and all this experience and they're not coachable, you're not going to get very far. So that's important. Looking at attitude. And then secondly, and there's a few different questions that you can be asking, like open-ended questions rather than just yes/no questions as well. Like I would never ask about skills and experience usually on interviews. I'm asking, what do you like to do in your spare time? Because you can get a lot back from that. So attitude is really important. The second thing that we're also looking at is, persona matching. When you're recruiting, if you're an accountant that loves adventure and you're really open-minded, are you going to find someone who sort of has those core values with you? And you'll be able to ascertain this in the interviews as well and see if you're on the same wavelength, see if you're vibing. Or, maybe you get someone that's really quite stiff and you just don't mesh together, right? So persona, you want to be looking at like your core values and what's important to you and what's important to them. And if you have some things in common, then you can find that you work a lot more harmoniously together. You'll be more partnership, rapport building will be killer. It'll just be, like looking at that persona matching is really important as well. So that's something that we look out for in our recruitment, and I would highly recommend you guys to do as well if you do go down that recruitment path yourself. Now, the other thing you should be looking at in the job description form when you're crafting that and putting it together is looking at what kind of programs and equipment does this person need, and mentioning whether you have any training or processes to send them through. That kind of thing will be important as well. Now, here's some good interview questions to ask. So you can ask them just simply like, how do you schedule your day? Right? Because that's a really good way to gauge, like, how does this person have good organization skills? Do they have other clients? And is like everything all over the place? Or do they have like scheduled shift times as well? It's just asking them how they schedule their day. Another open-ended question is asking them, how does remote working actually look like for you? Okay, do they have their own office set up? Because that's kind of important as well. It's not like a make or break thing, okay? Because a lot of the people don't have the space to set up an extra room. If you are looking to hire abroad, okay, they might only have like a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment and it's shared, okay? So they might just have like a sheet and create a little office space in the corner kind of thing, right? But if you can see that they're putting in the effort to create their own workspace, we know how important it is for our mental health, right? And for our productivity to have our own space, to have our, that's where we can get into creation mode. And it would be the same for amazing virtual assistants as well. Is when they're working, it's going to be encouraged if they have their own space as well. Because if they're common area, let's say, and they're constantly getting interrupted by kids and family and cooking and all the stuff, then what's going to get done for you when they're working for you? Because if there's constant interruptions, the productivity is not going to be there. You're going to be getting half done what you want in the time allocated. Depending on the role as well, like if you are looking for someone in a more expert role, say like a project management role, then another good question is asking them, how do you facilitate meetings, or how do you facilitate new campaigns or new projects that are coming around? Like, talk me through your process. I always find that's a good one. Another really great question is, for example, if you're hiring a web developer or a social media manager, whatever the role is give them a typical scenario. So like, paint a picture. So for example, if you're hiring, let's just say a web developer, and you say, okay, I want you to build a simple website, 5 pages, a homepage, a couple of service pages, add in the footers, do all the pictures. And, if all the pictures and the content were provided to you and all you had to do was the design and put it in, ask them, how long would that typically take you? That is a very powerful question, because you'll find some people will say 2 hours and another person will say 2 days. And that's a really, really big difference. Getting those time frame questions in as well can be really, really good. Okay, guys, I'm going to go through and tell you my top 3 tips and tricks as well. Okay. So number 1 is, when you are hiring yourself, something that when I was doing this process myself and starting off, and I now do this and have optimized this with my recruitment team, is, ask for a video clip or a video in the application as well. Because if you're going onto onlinejobs.ph and you post something, sometimes you just get hundreds of applicants, and they're just like standard copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. So if you really, really want to hone into those people that are driven, that want this really badly, that they have the initiative and they've actually gone through and they've read the job description properly, right? And you've asked there for a video link or a voice message link, and you might just be asking them, tell me what you do in your spare time, whatever it is. Ask them to give you that video link. You're probably, out of 100 applicants, going to get maybe 3, 4, or 5 people that actually give you that video link. And I found that's not going to be suited for every job role as well. Like, I wouldn't do that with a web developer, because they're techie and maybe they're not so like intimate and don't like talking as much, or whatever it is. I'm really generalizing here, right? But a social media manager, for example, like I would definitely do that with them, or a copywriter even. I would expect them to be okay and confident in talking and using their voice. So that's a good little tip and trick, because this is really going to filter out the ones that aren't really hungry for this, right, and have just done the copy and paste job. And it gives you a great indication of the potential work that they can produce as well, all right, and whether they can meet deadlines. Guys, when you're asking for the voice message or a video clip, don't ask them for their skills and experience. Like, tell me what your skills and experience are in a video. Bad mistake, done it before. They're just a lot of them just read off their CV, and it's boring and it's bland, and there's no oomph to it, right? So really good questions to ask for that voice clip or the video is, what are your goals for this year? What are your aspirations? What do you like to do in your spare time? Or what gets you excited? And then you can hear like the passion in them, and you get to know them a little bit, and that's where you find the resonance. My number 2 hack as well is, when you're writing that job application, you can always put a trick question in there as well to check whether they've actually read it properly. So for example, if you're getting them to fill out a Google form, all right, which is a good way to do your recruitment as well, is just because you can put it out into an Excel sheet. So you can use a Google form and put questions in there, and then do the analysis and the screening after. So when you do that, you can ask them, where it says age, put 33, no matter what your age is. Okay, you can do that on the original job description form. When everyone's going to fill out that Google form, and if you get people that are putting 40, 25, 26, they've completely failed. So they've failed the first part of the screening because they didn't see that one line on the original job description form. Let's just say it was on the onlinejobs.ph, and they didn't follow your instruction to put in 33 with the ages, no matter what their age is. So that would be just like first step failure for me. Like, go to the next one. Okay, they didn't make it to the next stage of the screening. And my hack number 3 is just start to take screencasts of your processes in your business that you are doing now, because this will make the future onboarding, the future starting of building your team with other amazing people a lot easier. Okay, it's going to make it a lot breezier to onboard. If you've got some videos to send them to and say, hey, check this out, it's going to alleviate the stress for you as well. Okay, and there's some really great platforms out there that you can use. I use Screencastify. They're some people that use Loom. There's some free ones that you can use on Mac and Windows. So just check it out and see what you want to do. It's really cheap. Even if the free version, you've got can't do as much editing and a few other things. So I just pay for it. It's cheap, it's worth it, and I use it a lot. And I would highly recommend you start putting your processes down into screencasts. Okay guys, so now you know how to find some of the most talented virtual skills that are out there, okay? I've given you all my tips and tricks and hacks, okay? You're gonna have so much free time soon, you're not gonna know what to do with yourself. If you guys are keen to see some more of this and get inside my private insiders group, then I'm gonna leave the link below, Scaling with Virtual Assistants. I'd love to see you there and have you part of the community. Check out my last video on how to save 20 hours a week. Actually, you can save so much more than that once you get the hang of this. It's all about data entry, virtual assistants, and so much more. So if you did like this video, help a sister out, give me a like, a thumbs up, whatever that thing is, and subscribe. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of you, and I'll be pumping out videos every week. Thank you.